for today's function are the students of the University of Perpetual Help, Las Piñas, in attendance this morning. The administrators, the faculty, the teaching staff, and all the other employees and personnel of the university, visiting guests and students, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. First of all, thank you so much for the extremely warm welcome that you have given us today. I have visited the other campuses of the University of Perpetual Help, and I always feel as if it is a sort of homecoming, as you have always made us feel comfortable. Your hospitality has been warm, and it is like coming home once again. But just reminding me that during the 2010 elections, andito rin kami, mga kandidato, pero nandito kami, nakahilera kami dito sa taas doon, at para magsalita at para magsumagot ng mga ilang tanong. At kahit noon pa, dahil itong kampanya, ay masasabi ko napakainit ang ibinigay ninyo sa aming salubong. Hindi namin nakakalimutan yun, especially after the welcome that you have given me today. Maraming salamat. I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to all who are present here today. It also gives me great satisfaction and honor to be able to touch base and share with the students of our higher educational institutions the results of the work that we do in the Senate as your elected representatives, especially on this very contentious and sensitive subject matter of what was called the Bangsamoro Basic Law, which portends great impact on our country and our people, and from which not only students of political science and other so-called politically inclined, but all students concerned about the state of our politics, our government, and of our nation, that you might just learn some valuable and important lessons. Sana lang, walang anumang karagdagang pagsusulit ang kakaibat ang inyong pagpunta sa seminar na ito. At sana rin, at malaya at buong puso kayong dumalo sa seminar na ito, at hindi napilitan lamang. Hindi tulad nung napabalitaan nating ginawa ng isang universidad para sa kanilang panauhing pandangal na isang sikat na politiko ilang linggo na nakalipas. However, on a more serious note, as diligent university students, you are sharp and receptive and pick up lessons and insights from this seminar on our constitutional system and our form of government, as well as the interplay between the different branches of government and the political forces involved in proposed legislation and a proposed shift in government policy. Maganda rin sana kung pati ang mga law students at bond reviewers na nandito rin dahil sa mga kaugnay na aspeto ng political law na dala ng BBM. Partikular na ang mga provisyon sa ating saligang batas tungkol sa autonomous regions at tungkol sa local government. Baka kasi dahil sa kainitan ng issue, ngayon ay biglang magtanong sa para exam tungkol dito sa darating na Nobyembre. Yan, paghandaan na ninyo. To get on with our topic, you may have learned in the news in the previous weeks that I already submitted in the Senate the modified version of the bill on the Bangsamoro Basic Law that was originally proposed by Malacanang. But bago tayo magsimula, unang-una, ano ba talaga itong BBM na ibinigay ng Palasyo, ibinigay ng Pangulo sa ating mga kongresista, sa ating mga senador? I hope you are all aware of a basic Philippine constitutional principle that certain parts of Mindanao are declared to be on a different political status in relation to the national government and in a different political status in comparison with other local government units. And say, for example, the city of Manila or Ilocos Norte. This area in Muslim Mindanao has been recognized under Article 10 of the Constitution as an autonomous region alongside the Cordillera region. In essence, They are an aggregation of local government units which share a, and I quote, a common and distinctive historical and cultural heritage. Ibig sabihin, may kasarilan sila. But note, however, that the concept of autonomy is essentially and substantially different from the idea or the principle of independence. So, while they may be viewed as autonomous, they are not independent. They are they are an integral part of the Republic of the Philippines. And right now, this certain part of Mindanao is called by the legal description the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or simply ARM. I'm sure marami sa inyo nakarinig na nito kung saan tinutukoy ang Muslim Mindanao at yung kanyang pamahalaan ay tinatawag natin ay ARM. The grant of their autonomy has been enfleshed in a law enacted by Congress. We had RA 6734 in 1989 and then RA 9054 in 2001. Para sa inyong kaalaman, ang Cordillera Region na itinugulang isa ring autonomous region ay hindi pa natuloy ang pag-organisa ng kanilang pamahalaan. Dahil nung nagkaroon ng plebisito, at lahat ng autonomous region ay kailangan magkaroon ng plebisito, nung nagkaroon ng plebisito ay hindi bumoto ang mga inhabitant ng so-called autonomous region of the Cordilleras. Ang kanilang boto ay hindi na maghihiwalay at hindi na magbabago ang kanilang sistema ng pamahalaan. Sa Muslim Mindanao naman, ikatlong pagkakataon na ang BBL kung saan babalikan at aayusin ang kasarinlan ng rehiyon na ito. To put it in proper perspective in this BBL, we as an entire nation are now trying to renegotiate this grant of autonomy to the ARM. During previous legislations, yung aking nabanggit na mga batas na bumuo ng Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, nung ang kausap ng ating pamahalaan ay ang Moro National Liberation Front, o tawag natin MNLF. They stood as the negotiator for ARM. Ngayon naman, ang Moro Islamic Liberation Front, o MILF, na sila na ang kausap ng ating pamahalaan. At sa halip na ARM ang kanilang gustong itawag sa kanilang autonomous region, Bangsamoro na ang gusto nilang pangalan. And in doing all of this, we are governed and guided by the framework of our constitutional democracy. Hence, we have to follow the rules and precepts ordained by our Constitution. To recall what you have learned in Political Science 101, the form of government that is ordained and authorized under our 1987 Constitution is a unitary, presidential, republican form of government. On the national level, we have the executive, we have the legislative, we have the judicial branches, and the independent constitutional bodies formed by a constitutional mandate. On the local level, we have what are called territorial and political subdivisions of our country, or local government units. A most popular example of which is your very own city of Manila. These LGUs also enjoy local autonomy, but not in the degree allowed by the ARM and the Cordilleras. Notwithstanding the grant of autonomy under the law, the President still has the power of general supervision over both the LGUs and the autonomous regions. Because of the primacy of the Constitution, the BBL, both in its substance and in the procedure for its enactment and enforcement, must follow certain principles, basic principles, that are in the Constitution. Number one, the framework agreement that has been signed is an agreement between the MILF and the GPH, ang tawag GPH, Government of the Philippines. But this does not bind the entire Philippine government. Ito yung baka meron kayong maririnig na nanggagaling mga statement na nanggagaling sa MILF, nanggagaling sa iba't ibang panig na sinasabi, bakit pa tayo kailangan dumaan sa legislature? Bakit pa tayo kailangan dumaan sa judiciary? Eh nakapagpirmahan na kami sa Pangulo, Kaya ibig sabihin, ang buong pamahalaan ay dapat sumunod na. At lagi kong ipinapaliwanag ay pinapaalala sa ating mga kaibigan na ganyan ang kanilang pananaw. We remind them that that applies only to treaties between two sovereign nations and the Philippine Republic. And that is because the foreign policy is under the Executive Department. But the agreement between the MILF and the government panel is not a treaty because the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region is not a sovereign government. And therefore, the formation of that government will have to be through by the enactment of a law, and that law will have to be passed, examined, studied, deliberated, and finally approved by both houses of Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives. After that, should there be any challenges, then of course they will also have to surmount those challenges in the judicial review that might have to be undertaken. Kung maalala ninyo, meron ng kasunduan sa pagitan ng MILF at ang GPH. Sa katunayan, ito ang nagbunsod na tinaguriang original draft na BBL. But we have to understand that the agreements do not bind Congress. Neither does it bind the Supreme Court, much less the entire country. Even if you see the acronym GPH, or Government of the Philippines, giving the impression that it is the entire Philippine government, it should be deemed to cover and bind the executive, the president, or Malacanang only. It is our president that claimed in the first place that ARM is a failed experiment. And yes, that is one of the arguments that is being made why we are doing and changing the Bangsamoro government. Secondly, Congress, through the power of lawmaking, not only has the authority to enact the MILF-GPH original draft of the BBL, but also to correlative power to change its terms and make it faithful and amenable to the provisions of the Constitution and to ensure the balanced and inclusive development of our country and of our people. In school, we learned that under our present Constitution, Congress is the lawmaking body, not the President. Ibig sabihin, kailangan muna talagang dumaan sa Kongreso itong BBL bago ito maging ganap na batas. Anuman ang nilalaman ng original na BBL at anuman ang pagkasunduan ng GPH at ng MILF. Pero ang problema nakita namin, ang malaking problema na lumabas sa aming mga pagdinig sa Senado na marami pala sa provision ng BBL ay laban sa saligang batas. Many provisions are, in the opinion of our best legal minds, unconstitutional. Kaya ang aking ginawa ay minabuti kong humingi ng isang pauna at pampaganang lecture o sermon mula sa aming dalubhasa sa Senado sa saligang batas na si Senator Miriam Santiago. Ang ginawa ni Senator Miriam ay inimbitahan niya ang mga magagaling at matitinig ng mga utak sa saligang batas upang pag-aralan itong BBL at kung ito nga ay naaayon sa ating saligang batas. Sa kasawiang palad, ipinagtibay ng report ni Senator Miriam na ang aming mga naunang hinala, labag talaga sa konstitusyon ang BBL. Ika nga ng sikat na libro ngayon ni Senator Miriam, Stupid is Forever. Ang gusto raw di umano ng BBL ay gawing isang part sovereign state o isang sub-state ang tinaguriang Bangsamoro. However, the problem arises because it has allegedly all the elements of a state under the Montevideo Convention, namely a permanent population, a well-defined territory, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. So I had to make sure that the Bangsamoro proposal would not turn the ARM into a state within a state. The national and territorial integrity of the Philippines should be preserved, should be protected. The Bangsamoro proposal should not contain provisions leading to opportunities for secession or for breaking away. The matter of defense, security, and peace and order in the Bangsamoro should always remain with the national government. I had to make sure that the provisions leading to normalcy in the area were contained in the substitute bill that I wrote. I fully agree that peace and development in Muslim Mindanao are as much a primary objective of the BBL as the grant of enhanced autonomy. Hence, we included provisions on the so-called normalization of communities and also on the decommissioning of forces. Ibig sabihin nito, kapalit at kasabay dapat na mas malawak na autonomiya o kasarinlan ay meron dapat kaikibat na mas taus-pusong pagtitigil sa paglalaban sa gobyerno, pagbababa ng mga armas at paglalansad ng ating mga armadong grupo. We have to disarm, literally and figuratively. A portion of our people who are so used to or so steeped in a culture of arms-bearing, fighting, and killing. This needs to end. The enactment of the BBL is also a time for our brothers and sisters to lay down arms and to replace them with plows, with tools, with books, with computers, other wholesome and more potent materials of creation, not of destruction, and other building blocks of social development and progress. In fact, these were some of the very valuable and painful lessons that we learned from the Mama Sapano massacre in January of this year. We are able to appreciate the importance of achieving lasting peace in Mindanao. We are taught about the virtue of trust. Remember that the MILF was involved in this deadly skirmish, the very same organization that our government has been exclusively talking to and negotiating with in the past several years about, quite ironically, the quest for a just and lasting peace in Mindanao. It is very unfortunate that it had to take the lives of 44 brave policemen in the line of duty fighting for the cause of peace and against global terrorism for us to be reminded of these important goals. But at the very least, we are greatly comforted by the thought that our fallen 44 had given their lives not only for the single valiant purpose of bringing fugitives to justice, but for more important and transcendental reasons, that of revealing the imperfections and weaknesses in the peace process in Muslim Mindanao. So in my sponsorship speech, I deemed it prudent and made it a policy and a point to pay tribute to the memory of our fallen 44. May they forever be remembered by our grateful nation. Furthermore, the third point that needs to be included in as a guiding principle is that the Supreme Court's authority has the authority to declare a law unconstitutional. Kailangan namin pag-aralan ng mabuti ang BBL. Hindi pwedeng bara-bara. Pagka ganitong importanteng batas, hindi mo naman pwede sabihin, bahala na si Batman. Hindi pwede yung ganyang klaseng pag-iisip. Hindi pwedeng rock and roll to the world. Bahala na. Kasi naririyan ang Korte Suprema sa may Paura, Manila, na siyang nakapantay at nakaabang sa ilalabas na batas ng Kongreso at naghihintay sa anumang magiging reklamo ng ating mamamayan na ang BBL ay labag sa ating konstitusyon. Or else, all the painstaking work of Congress could just end up being another target of a petition by a concerned and well-meaning Filipino taxpayer for certiorari and prohibition with the Supreme Court on the ground of unconstitutionality. If the BBL were to spring forth from Congress, if the version that was eventually struck down by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional, what happens? Is it the end of its proponents? If the proponents are bent on passing the BBL in the exact shape and form as drafted by the Palace and the MILF, there will be no legal recourse but to initiate a coordinate move of amending or revising the Constitution. This is in order to accommodate and make possible all the drastic changes in our existing government and institutions called for under the BBL. Thus, under Under Article 17 of the Constitution, said proposed constitutional changes shall be done by Congress through direct action or through a constituent assembly or through a constitutional convention. At the moment, we are in the stages of interpolation and amendments of the substitute bill in Congress. Hindi na namin pinag-uusapan ngayon ang BBL. Yung BBL, ang tinutukoy ng BBL stands for Bangsamoro Basic Law. Lagi niyong naririnig, BBL. Ano yun? Yung BBL, yun yung version ng palasyo. Yun yung version na sinulat at linagdaan ng MILF at ng Philippine government. Yun ang ibinigay sa Kongreso at yun sa aming pag-aaral ay nakita namin labag na sa saligang batas. Kaya pinalitan namin at ako ay gumawa, nagsulat ako ng tinatawag na substitute bill. Binago ko kung ano man sa palagay ko ang kailangang baguhin, tinanggal namin kung anong dapat tanggalin, nagdagdag kami na maging mas maliwanag ang batas. At ang tawag ngayon namin dyan, hindi na BBL. Dahil sa katotohanan, ang BBL patay na. Walang pag-asang manalo, walang pag-asang pumasa sa House of Representatives, walang pag-asang pumasa sa Senado. Kaya the short title to the substitute bill, both in the House and in the Senate, is yung tawag namin the Basic Law on the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. As of the moment, we are in the stages, as I said, of interpolation. Ibig sabihin, ako ngayon ay tumatayo sa Senado at lahat ng senador pagkatapos nilang basahin at pag-aralan yung aking substitute bill ay nagtatanong at para maipaliwanag ko ang mga iba't ibang provision dito sa batas na aming ginawa. Presidential approval is to be expected in all probability since he is behind the proposal. But even after the President signs the law into a Republic Act, the law shall ultimately be laid down before the people that it is affecting, and the people in Muslim Mindanao and the surrounding population, for their ratification at the plebiscite, wherein they will have to answer the important question, do you approve of the basic law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region? These are the peaceful, unifying, and constitutional ways of doing it. In the name of peace, let this be done. No shortcuts, no railroading, no threats of violence, no threats of war. We have worked hard and risked much for this proposed legislation to reach this stage. 2 weeks ago, we found a bullet hole through the glass of my office with a bullet slug on the floor. And siguro, sabi ko, nagulat ko, pinaputukan yata tayo dito sa aking opisina. Siguro merong hindi nasisihan dun sa aming ginagawa. But I am not rattled, I am not shaken. I will do everything to make sure that all the work will not be just put to waste or set to naught, especially on the mere whims and caprices of unseen forces working and weaving their magic behind the scenes. Your public servant assures our young people and our posterity that as an elected representative of the Filipino people entrusted with the life and the future of our nation, I will continue the valiant struggle of our patriots by ensuring that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country are kept intact, respected by all, and our people are united by a common aspiration for genuine and lasting peace, for order, for justice and development, not only in Mindanao, but in the entire country as well. I hope that somehow, with this brief explanation, that you have gained some lessons, important lessons about this topic this morning, because of its sheer importance to us in our life as a nation, to our lives as a Filipino people, especially to you, the young people. What we do today is not something that we do for ourselves. We do this for the future that you will inhabit, the future which you will live. as the future of our great land, you shall be inheriting the country and the society that we, your progenitors and forebears, are now shaping and molding in your behalf. What we are doing now is history in the making. And by your active involvement and your insights in the national dialogue, you too can be part of the process of writing this particular chapter of Philippine history. So I urge you all to be involved in your way as youthful and exuberant, dynamic and proactive students. I also humbly ask for your support, your patience, and your understanding. So let me end on that note, my dear students. Thank you for your time and your attention. Mabuhay ang University of Perpetual